or valued. When your partner repeatedly references another person in this light, it's possible she's building an emotional bridge with that individual. This isn't just about admiration. Like you're shouting in a crowded room, your voice echoing, but no one even glances in your direction, as though you're invisible, screaming for acknowledgement that will never come. And when they treat you like yesterday's news, something they once glanced at but never truly valued, it feels as if you're drowning in a sea of self-doubt, endlessly replaying the same question. Why? Why are they ignoring me? What did I do wrong? What's missing in me? Let me stop you right there. These are the wrong questions. If someone is ignoring or rejecting you, the issue isn't about them. It's about you ignoring yourself. Here's a truth that's harsh but transformative. People only ignore what they think they can afford to lose. But there's a twist. They're wrong. They're so focused on the surface, they don't see the storm brewing beneath. And that storm is your awakening. Today is the day. Have you ever felt the cold sting of being ignored? Like you're shouting in a crowded room, your voice echoing, but no one even glances in your direction. It's as though you're invisible, a shadow in the corner, screaming for acknowledgement that will never come. And when they treat you like yesterday's news, something they once glanced at but never truly valued, it feels as if you're drowning in a sea of self-doubt, endlessly replaying the same question. Why? Why are they ignoring me? What did I do wrong? What's missing in me? Let me stop you right there. These are the wrong questions. If someone is ignoring or rejecting you, the issue isn't about them. It's about you ignoring yourself. Here's a truth that's harsh but transformative. People only ignore what they think they can afford to lose. But there's a twist. They're wrong. They're so focused on the surface, they don't see the storm brewing beneath. And that storm is your awakening. Today is the day you rise. The day you become the version of yourself they'll wish they'd never overlooked. Are you ready? Hit that like button right now if you're committed to this transformation. Because by the time we're done here, every excuse, every ounce of self-doubt, every weakness holding you back will be shattered. 1. The golden key in rejection. When someone ignores you, they unknowingly hand you a golden key, the opportunity to unlock parts of yourself you never knew existed. Think of it this way. A diamond doesn't start as a brilliant gem. It begins as a rough, unpolished stone buried in darkness. Only through immense pressure and relentless heat does it transform into something priceless. Every time you're ignored, it's pressure. Every slight, every cold shoulder is heat. But here's the question. Will you let it crush you or refine you? When rejection happens, many people crumble, begging for scraps of attention. They plead, see me, value me, choose me. But desperation doesn't make you desirable. It diminishes you. Nobody is drawn to someone who has abandoned their self-respect to chase validation. When you beg for attention, you aren't saying, I'm worthy. You're declaring, I'm desperate. And here's the brutal truth. No one chooses desperation. They ignore it, just as they ignore an insignificant detail in the background. Let this sink in. You can't make someone choose you by shrinking yourself to fit their expectations. Instead, you must reclaim your power and expand beyond their imagination. 2. Why you must stop chasing closure. Now let's talk about closure. The myth of closure traps countless people. It's the belief that if you could just have one more conversation or receive a heartfelt apology, everything would finally make sense. But that's a lie. Chasing closure is like trying to rebuild a burned book from ashes. It's futile. The harder you try, the more you hurt yourself. Closure isn't something they give you, it's something you create for yourself. Imagine holding a rope attached to someone who's walking away. The more you cling, shouting, "Wait, explain yourself," the more the rope cuts into your hands. Bloodied and exhausted, you realize the only way to stop the pain is to let go. Let go of the rope. Your healing doesn't depend on their acknowledgement or their explanation. It depends on your ability to stop making them the center of your universe. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Write this affirmation in the comments right now. I let go of the rope. Say it, believe it, and live it. 3. Their indifference doesn't define you. Indifference can feel like the sharpest blade. They don't acknowledge you, don't see you, and don't value you. And in response, you shrink, dimming your light in the hope that one day they'll finally notice. But let me ask you, why are you letting their blindness define your brilliance? The sun doesn't stop shining because someone closes their blinds. It doesn't dim itself to cater to those who can't appreciate its light, and neither should you. Every time you let their apathy chip away at your confidence, you give them power over your story. But you don't need their approval to shine. What you need is to remember your worth. Their indifference doesn't reduce your value. Your reaction to it does. Let me tell you something about people who ignore you. They think you need them more than they need you. Prove them wrong. Rise so high that their indifference becomes irrelevant. Write this in the comments. I shine for me. Let this be your declaration that you're done letting their lack of care dictate your life. 4th, stop comparing yourself to their ideal. Who told you that you weren't enough? Who convinced you that you need to reshape yourself into someone else to be worthy? Every time you compare yourself to who you think they want, you lose the battle before it even begins. Authenticity is magnetic, but comparison kills it. Think of a diamond again. Its imperfections, its unique facets, make it priceless. If it tried to smooth itself into a perfect sphere, it would lose everything that made it special. Stop looking at their type and trying to conform. You weren't made to blend in, you were made to stand out. Say this to yourself: I am what they didn't know they needed. Write it down, believe it. Because when you embrace your authenticity, you stop chasing validation and start attracting the right people into your life. 5. Break free from the victim mindset. No one is coming to save you, not the winds of rejection and indifference can either destroy you or lift you. The choice is yours. Every moment you spend chasing their attention is a moment stolen from your growth. Swing backward. Start building forward. Use their ignorance as fuel for your transformation. Write this final affirmation: I rise above. The takeaway: you don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You need you. When you stop chasing them and start embracing yourself, you become unstoppable. So, are you ready to rise? Hit that like button, drop your affirmations in the comments, and commit to your growth. Let their ignorance be the fire that refines you, not the chain that holds you back. Because when you shine, you don't just light up your own path, you set the world ablaze. Rise, transform, and become undeniable. Let's uncover a brutal truth that most men fail to grasp. When you stop talking to a woman, something significant shifts inside her. This isn't just a small change, it's a monumental shift that can take you by surprise. The belief that constant communication is the key to maintaining interest is a misconception. Sometimes, silence communicates more effectively than words ever can. The power of silence in relationships. Before you start doubting this approach, let me clarify. When you stop texting, calling, or chasing her, you tap into something deep within her psyche, a profound, instinctual response. Many men operate under the assumption that keeping a woman's attention requires being constantly available. They think they need to flood her with texts, shower her with attention, and fulfill her every need to keep her interested. But here's the reality. This kindly often backfires. Instead of drawing her closer, it pushes her away. Why? Because women, like everyone else, crave a sense of mystery, space, and challenge. By stepping back, you're not being cold or disrespectful. You're creating an environment where she can remember what it feels like to desire you, to wonder about you, and to pursue you. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what happens when you stop talking to a woman. You'll discover how this simple act of silence can completely transform your relationship dynamic, reignite her interest, and even make her start chasing you. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding the deeper psychology of attraction and human behavior. If you're tired of always being the one who chases, the one who puts in all the effort while getting little in return, then listen closely. What you're about to learn will challenge everything you think you know about relationships, attraction, and self-worth. 1. She'll start chasing you. When you stop talking to a woman, the dynamics of your relationship undergo a significant shift. Suddenly, you're no longer the one chasing her or constantly available at her beck and call. This change creates tension, an emotional imbalance that disrupts her expectations and routines. Why does this happen? It all comes down to basic psychology. We value things more when they're not readily available. This principle applies universally, whether we're talking about material possessions or relationships. When you're always there, always responding, it sends an unconscious message that you're easy to obtain. But when you step back and stop feeding into her expectations, you flip the script. Now, you're the one who's a little harder to get, and that changes everything. Let me give you an example. Imagine you've been texting a woman every day, checking in on her, and initiating plans. One day, you decide to stop. You don't text her, call her, or make plans for a few days. Initially, she might think you're just busy or preoccupied, but as more time passes, something interesting happens. She starts wondering where you've gone and why you're no longer reaching out. That curiosity compels her to take action, whether it's texting you first, calling to check in, or even engaging with you on social media. This shift in dynamic isn't just about getting her attention, it's about creating space for her to actively pursue you. Instead of being the one constantly trying to maintain the connection, you give her the opportunity to recognize the value of your presence. And when she starts chasing you, it's because she genuinely wants to, not because you've pressured her into it. 2. She'll begin to miss you. Absence isn't just about silence. It's about creating a void that she can't ignore. When you stop talking to her, you're giving her the space to reflect on what she's missing. Those good morning texts, those late night calls, the thoughtful gestures, they're all gone, and their absence sends a powerful message. Here's the thing. People often don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. When you're always available, it's easy for someone to take your presence for granted. But by stepping back, you give her the chance to feel the impact of your absence. During this period of silence, she starts to replay memories in her mind. The laughs you shared, the comforting words you offered, the unique bond you had. Each of these memories serves as a reminder of what she's missing. And the more she reflects, the more she realizes how much value you brought to her life. Think about it like this. When something is too easily accessible, it loses its allure. By pulling back, you reintroduce a sense of mystery and intrigue. She begins to crave that emotional connection with you, wondering what you're up to, if you've moved on, or if someone else has caught your attention. This uncertainty triggers a longing, a desire to fill the gap you've left behind. The beauty of this approach is that it's entirely natural. You're not manipulating her feelings or playing games. You're simply giving her the opportunity to miss you. And when she reaches out, it's because she genuinely wants to reconnect, not because you've forced her hand. 3. She'll wonder where you went. One of the most powerful effects of stepping back is the curiosity it triggers. When you suddenly go silent, it doesn't go unnoticed. People are naturally drawn to the unknown, and if she's used to hearing from you regularly, your absence creates a noticeable gap. Initially, she might brush off your silence as you being busy or preoccupied, but as more time passes, questions start to surface. Why did he stop reaching out? Did something happen? Is he seeing someone else? These thoughts can occupy her mind for hours, even days, as she tries to make sense of your sudden disappearance. This curiosity doesn't just make her think about you, it pulls you to the forefront of her mind. She starts analyzing past conversations, replaying your interactions, and searching for clues about why you've gone quiet. And the more she overthinks, the more invested she becomes in solving this mental puzzle. This sense of wonder and intrigue keeps her engaged, even in your absence. It's a reminder that you're not an open book, and that mystery only adds to your appeal. A little distance, combined with unanswered questions, can do wonders for reigniting her interest. 4. She'll value you more. When you give her space, something remarkable happens. She starts to realize your worth. Many men make the mistake of thinking that constant attention is the key to winning a woman's heart. But the truth is, being too available can actually make you less valuable. When you're always there, always reaching out, you risk becoming predictable, even boring. By stepping back, you give her the chance to reflect on what your presence truly means to her. It's in this space of absence that she begins to see the value of the connection you shared. This isn't about playing hard to get, it's about respecting yourself and your own boundaries. By stepping back, you're sending a clear message. I have a life, goals, and ambitions outside of this relationship, and I won't compromise my sense of self to be constantly available. This kind of confidence is magnetic. It shows her that you're a person with depth and independence, qualities that are universally attractive. 5. She'll realize she took you for granted. Sometimes, the only way someone can truly appreciate your worth is by experiencing life without you. When you step back, you give her the opportunity to reflect on the dynamic of your relationship. In the silence, she begins to see the ways she may have taken your patience, support, and presence for granted. This realization isn't about guilt, it's about clarity. By stepping back, you're breaking the cycle of overgiving and overreaching. You're giving her the space to recognize the true value of what you brought to the relationship. Final thoughts. Stop chasing, start valuing yourself. The takeaway is simple. If you're constantly chasing, you're not being valued. Instead, step back, create space, and allow her to come to her own realization about your worth. When she does, the dynamic will shift, and you'll find yourself in a position of strength. Not because you've played games, but because you've respected yourself. Have you ever found yourself blindsided by the possibility of infidelity in your relationship? Statistically, a staggering 85% of men struggle to recognize the subtle signs when their partner might be straying. Sounds surprising, doesn't it? But don't worry. Today, we're diving into this sensitive topic to equip you with the tools to better understand your partner and your relationship. Before we proceed, let's address an essential foundation for success in love: understanding female psychology. If you're here, it's likely because you want to elevate your understanding of women's thoughts, behaviors, and emotional needs. Maybe you want to build a stronger relationship or address the unspoken tensions you've felt recently. Whatever the case, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss any of my future videos packed with practical, actionable advice to enhance your love life, personal growth, and emotional intelligence. Why you need to listen closely. Gentlemen, what I'm about to share with you could radically transform the way you perceive your romantic relationships. Female psychology, particularly in the realm of infidelity, is often shrouded in mystery. You might have heard the old adage that women are masters at concealing their true intentions. I'm here to tell you, this isn't just a cliché. When it comes to infidelity, women tend to operate on a level of subtlety and strategy that can catch even the most observant partner off guard. While many men might leave glaring clues when they stray, forgotten text messages, unusual absences, or behavioral shifts, women often possess a finesse in covering their tracks. This ability to strategically mask their true intentions can border on the manipulative. However, don't lose hope. There are ways to decode these hidden signs and identify the subtle shifts that signal something may be wrong. Today, I'm unveiling 6 phrases women often say when they're cheating. These phrases might sound innocent on the surface, but frequently conceal deeper, more unsettling truths. Ask yourself this: could you confidently say you've never heard one of these phrases in your relationship? If you've heard them, did you recognize their deeper implications? Or did they slip by unnoticed? By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to identify and address these red flags before they evolve into something irreversible. Let's not waste another moment. Let's dive right into these 6 phrases.